According to Sports Pro, Caitlin Clark is the fourth most marketable athlete in the world. Yeah, not just female athlete, not just in the United States, but in the entire world. Did you notice what Caitlin Clark just did? She didn't simply sign a contract. She changed the rules of endorsements. Clark's new $13 billion partnership isn't just significant, it's revolutionary. But this is where things start to get really interesting as Clark makes significant movements. You won't believe how some WNBA players are responding to this arrangement that could change the game. Stay tuned as we delve into the drama, which includes A.A. Wilson's response that is appending women's basketball. How and what way does she sell out tens of thousands of Wilson basketballs in 40 minutes? What has A.A. Wilson done to say that she is worth every penny? And then some. Wilson and Hy-Vee have partnered to release Caitlin Clark basketballs in vivid purple and yellow. The Dreamer and Tribute editions will be arriving in time for the holidays, making them the ideal present for fans. This innovative partnership, along with eye-catching advertisements, has everyone talking. Here they just said disco. And this is the Hy-Vee Instagram account again. Wilson Caitlin Clark, really smart, very cool video, lots of smiling faces. Wilson's ability to spot talent is demonstrated by their $13 billion partnership. While Nike made a mistake, Wilson made a daring, game-changing decision when he recognized Caitlin Clark's potential early on. Let's go back to the moment when Wilson signed Clark. It was a brilliant move. Caitlin Clark just did something nobody has done since Michael Jordan. Wilson's sporting goods signed the WNBA star to a multi-year deal. She's the first female athlete to have her own collection with Wilson, and it will be built similar to Jordan's collection in the 1980s that included those signature basketballs. Wilson's acquisition of Caitlin Clark is a game changer. They took a huge risk by doing something they had only ever done once with Michael Jordan himself. As soon as the agreement was announced, social media went crazy, and everyone was talking about it. Women's sports had recently been transformed by Wilson. I'm the only athlete to have a signature basketball with Wilson other than Michael freaking Jordan. Wilson's head of global partnerships said, "We haven't done a deal of this magnitude since we did one with Michael Jordan 30 to 40 years ago." After that, Clark's first basketball was released. What happened next was that it sold out in a matter of minutes, meaning that tens of thousands of basketballs were gone in an instant. This is historic. After Michael Jordan, Caitlin Clark is now just the second athlete in history to own a Wilson basketball. I don't know that I can name an athlete in recent memory that has sold at this level. And there's the key, folks. Caitlin Clark moves products. Caitlin Clark moves merchandise. And here's what I was talking about too. They mentioned it here in September. Wilson dropped the first Clark-inspired basketball. It sold out in under 40 minutes. Tens of thousands of basketballs snapped up almost instantly. Wilson isn't stopping there, though. They have great plans for Clark to see something in her that they haven't seen before. Her star power, her brilliance on the court, and her capacity to engage with fans and make sales. Wilson is placing a large wager on Clark, and thus far it is paying out well. What is the significance of this seismic shift for women's sports companies' perceptions of female athletes, their marketing strategies to sports fans, and their appreciation of women's sports in general are all changing? In addition to altering the game on the court, Clark is also altering it in boardrooms and marketing conferences across the sports sector. This Wilson transaction is only the first step. Wilson and Clark are about to push things to the next level, and their influence on women's sports will be profoundly passive. Are you prepared to watch what occurs next with a $13 billion alliance? Caitlin Clark recently made a significant move, but here's the twist. Instead of signing a personal contract, she got Wilson and the Midwest supermarket giant together to upend women's sports. You might be thinking of a chain of supermarkets, but isn't your typical business. They're a retail powerhouse that is focusing all of their effort on Caitlin Clark, and they're not merely putting her name on a cereal box. Instead, they're developing something completely original and fascinating. This is when the exciting part begins. Guess who's back in the mix as releases unique limited edition basketballs. These balls are being referred to as the Clark Dreams and Tribute Wilson basketballs since they resemble Clark off the court. Wilson and are building a super team of sorts. And what this is has announced an exclusive, that's right, an exclusive drop of Caitlin Clark's Dreamer and Tribute Wilson basketballs. Very, very cool. Big deal. Good job, Wilson. You know, they probably went and put this together. I mean, maybe contacted Caitlin Clark first, but you know this is probably something the type of thing Wilson. However, why is this such a significant issue? It's about what it means for women's sports marketing going forward. This type of cooperation is revolutionary and is establishing a new benchmark for how female athletes collaborate with big businesses. Remember, they have been there for Caitlin Clark at every turn, demonstrating their dedication to her path since the beginning. You may recall their donation to the Caitlin Clark Foundation during her time in Iowa, and get this, Hy-Vee says it's making a donation to the Caitlin Clark Foundation in honor of her record $35,690 will be donated. In Clark's basketball career, she scored 3,569 points to beat the old record. In addition to signing a contract, Clark is assisting in the creation of goods that share a narrative. Wilson claims that every ball symbolizes a different phase of Clark's journey. From her time at Iowa to her rise to fame in the WNBA, it makes sense, because developing a brand is more important than marketing. She was ranked as the 4th most marketable athlete in the world by Sport Pro, and then at number 4, Caitlin Clark. LeBron James at 3, Vinicius Jr., who is a Brazilian soccer star, and number 1 being Simone Biles. As you can see, Caitlin Clark is the only WNBA player in the top 10, and she's actually the only WNBA player in the top 20. What does this mean for the future? Perhaps more businesses will start making bold moves like this, working together, more creatively, investing more in women's sports. And who knows, maybe the next time a female athlete signs a contract, the numbers won't surprise us. Instead, we'll be anticipating them. While strengthening the partnerships she's already built, from basketballs flying off shelves to multi-million-dollar endorsements, TC is at the forefront of athlete branding. Wilson and Hy-Vee are supporting Clark, but what about Nike? You would think they would be all over this by now, but this is where things start to get interesting. It seems incredible that Nike signed Clark to a $28 million contract, but then there was no word from the sports giant, and fans were left wondering where the Clark shoes, the jerseys, and the big marketing campaign were. And her WNBA season has come and gone, and with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her. We have not seen any commercials, we have not seen any ads, we have not seen any Caitlin Clark merchandise, and we for sure as hell have not seen any Caitlin Clark signature shoes. It is mind-blowing. Clark's popularity isn't exactly a secret in the quick-paced world of sports marketing. Every day that Nike fails to leverage Clark's star power is a day lost. Fans are willing to buy, but Nike isn't selling, even though her jersey sales have increased by 500%. Yeah, where is Caitlin Clark's shoe jersey sales skyrocketed by 500% this season? Where's the shoe folks? Where is it? Industry insiders are baffled as well. They claim that Nike ought to plaster Clark's face on billboards, introduce shoe lines, and do other things, but instead they seem to place her on the bench. Where's the shoe folks? Where is it? Paige Becker recently landed her own signature shoe. Crappy shoe, but she got one, and yeah, you're right, vocal. Of course, why not? It should be vocal. Absolutely ridiculous. According to a recent rumor, Nike wants to give A.A. Wilson's shoes priority over Caitlin Clark's, but that isn't feasible from a marketability standpoint. It's obvious that Caitlin Clark is ahead of A.A. Wilson. He reports Nike wants to prioritize A'ja Wilson, and it fears the optics of giving a rookie a signature shoe before an already established star who just won league MVP for the 3rd time. We have talked about this multiple times on my channel. Is A'ja Wilson currently the best player in the WNBA? Yes. Is Caitlin Clark currently the face of the WNBA? Yes. Do I think if A'ja Wilson dropped a shoe and Caitlin Clark dropped a shoe today at the very same time that Caitlin Clark would outsell A'ja's shoe by 100 times? Yes, I think that would be the case. When Nike sits on their hands, this is where things get very crazy. Other businesses are launching exclusive products while Wilson sells out basketballs in a matter of minutes like everyone else. Nike recognizes Clark's worth. It's an absolute and utter embarrassment. Nike should be shut down simply out of shame for the way they have treated Caitlin Clark. Clark is demonstrating that women's sports can generate significant revenue, but it appears that everyone is currently profiting from that fact except Nike. Thanks for watching and subscribe my channel.